There he is. How about that there? Speed Senko. Gosh, this thing's incredible. You know, I've thrown this thing a little bit, but every time I pick this thing up, I'm more impressed. You guys, Cody Meyer here with the crew from tacklewarehouse.com. New bait from Yamamoto. This thing is incredible. Yamamoto Speed Senko 7-inch. Hey, let's sit down, let's get into the details. You're not gonna wanna miss this. So I'm excited about this one, guys. You know, I've actually fished this the last couple months, and I felt like when Yamamoto said they were gonna bring out this bait, you know, this was gonna be a game changer. For starters, it's gonna be the Senko. You know, this is the same great Senko we've always had. It's a 5-inch Senko, plus you're gonna add on that tail, which is gonna make it 7 inches long. Same salt content, nothing changed about this bait except the tail. Now, when you get to the tail here, it's gonna come stuck together here. All you do is separate this and you're gonna have amazing action out of this bait. Now, this is gonna be a swimming worm style bait, but what separates this from other brands on the market, you're gonna be able to swim this over grass, you know, down in Florida, up in New York, wherever you might be. But when you get to that hole in the grass, let's say you're swimming up to a hole, you can kill this bait and it's gonna have the Senko action as it goes down. Bass cannot resist the Senko, and so this is gonna make it very unique. Like I say, you're gonna swim it in reeds, maybe a fish is following it. Now you can kill the action of this bait, you can pause it, it's gonna fall down, and bass are gonna eat it. Absolutely amazing. We've got some great colors on that. And this is how I rig it here. You know, I'm just gonna rig it on a Texas rig with a light weight. Whatever weight you can get away with is what I recommend, you know, from an 1/8 ounce up to maybe 1/4 or 3/8 of an ounce. And you know, this thing, it's gonna be simple fishing. Standard Texas rig. You know, I'm gonna use just the offset worm hook here. You're gonna just rig it right up like this, make it completely weedless, and you are ready to throw this thing wherever you think a bass is gonna live, in the thickest of grass, wherever that might be. Let me show you how I fish this bait. You know, when I'm throwing this 7-inch Speed Senko, this is the ideal situation I'm looking for. You know, I'm looking for any of that grass, that shallow grass, you know, maybe around some of these docks, a lot of this eel grass, some hydrilla mixed in here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bait, like I say, I got a lighter weight on here, an 1/8 ounce. I'm gonna Texas rig it, and I'm just gonna throw it over the top of the grass. I'm not gonna wind it so fast where it's on top of the surface. I'm slowly gonna wind it and just tick the top of the grass. That is really, really key. But like I say, this is a perfect spot, you know. And what's cool about this Speed Senko is when you Texas rig this bait, you're gonna have a lot of action, but also you could bring it through just about anything, which is a big deal. You know, if a guy's fishing, let's say an evergreen jackhammer, Yamamoto Zako through here, he's gonna constantly be snagged up. He's gonna be fighting the grass. You know, we're fishing this grass right now that's, you know, anywhere from 1 to 2 feet deep. We're swimming this bait over the top of it. When I see one of those holes, I bring it to a hole, I'm gonna kill the bait and let the bait do the work. And that's what's so cool about having a Senko with a tail. We're calling it the Speed Senko. It's a very, you know, important tool for me. We're up here in New York right now looking for some of these big northern strain largemouth. But I can see so many different applications for this bait. You know, not only are you gonna be able to swim this thing over grass, because of the action of the tail, I can actually see Texas rigging this heavier too, maybe throwing it in a brush pile, you know, dragging it around some brush, you know, keeping it weedless. But right now, we're gonna throw this thing around some of these docks that are, you know, got a ton of eelgrass in there, skip it around some of the docks, under the docks, and see what we can come up with. But what an awesome bait. Like I say, very useful tool for me. It's a fun way to fish. I get a lot of bites, and one of the keys is, for me, when I'm rigging this bait, like I say, tail up, gonna have a lot more action, but also when you get a bite, you wanna give it a split second. You know, once you feel that first initial thump, you know, I'm gonna count 1001, 1002, and then set the hook. What happens a lot of times is they come up, they grab the tail of this bait, and then once you're letting them eat it, they'll eat the whole bait down. 1001, 1002, go ahead and set the hook, and you're gonna get them almost every time. Cool way to fish. It's a good way to get bit, and you're gonna catch some big ones doing it in this grass. There he is. Oh man, got the old toothy critter. Speed Senko is gonna catch anything. Hey, I'll tell you what though, what is so crazy is this Steez rod is so sensitive. I mean, it almost doesn't even feel real when you get that bite. Like I said, I waited 1001, 1002, we got a pike. It could be a pike, it could be a bass, but we're gonna fish that Speed Senko in the grass, and I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're gonna get some bites here. So let's go ahead and go over the gear. You know, for starters, like I said, I mentioned I like a 4/0 worm hook. This is a 4/0 owner offset worm hook. It matches up on this bait perfectly, and a bigger line. You know, I'm gonna use anywhere from an 18-pound Daiwa J Fluoro Samurai up to maybe a 22-pound. You know, some guys do prefer braid. Maybe if you're in the really thick stuff in Florida, and if that was the case, I would go to probably a 40, 50-pound Daiwa J braid. But today we're fishing this on a fluorocarbon line, 18-pound test. As far as the rod, you know, I recommend a little bit longer, stiffer rod here. You know, this is a Steez 7-foot 5-inch. I recommend a rod, you know, anywhere from that 7.4 to 7.6, that medium heavy to a heavy action rod. You need a rod with a lot more backbone to set the hook and pull them out of some of these thick reeds, this thick grass, very important. And also to have a little bit longer rod is a key to make that long cast, so then when you drop that bait in a hole, you get the right hook set out of that. So I like a medium heavy to a heavy action rod. Again, this is a Steez A. As far as the reel, I'm throwing a Steez TW here, 7:1 gear ratio. I want something a little bit quicker. You know, I'm not gonna go with an 8:1 or a 6.3, but a 7:1 is really, really good. I feel like it's a perfect gear ratio in the reel. I love this Steez here, just complete package. This is extremely light, powerful, and extremely sensitive as well. And that's what I prefer here to fish. Make sure to pick up some of these Speed Senkos because you're gonna catch a lot of bass, a lot of big ones. This thing is absolutely incredible. What a great day.